Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever applies to you. My name is Sherry Oseni, and the Lord has impressed upon me to share my story. Hopefully, it's going to help somebody out there, either going through the same thing I went through, or can stop you from making the same mistakes I did. So either way, I hope it reaches whoever needs it. So, where do I begin? God is real. God is real. And God speaks. But we just have to listen and be obedient. Before I got married, I know I asked God. I asked my papa. I call him Papa. You may have other names for him, but I call him Papa. I asked my papa if this guy was right for me. God will highlight the character of the person you're trying to marry. He will highlight it to you. And it's up to you to listen and do whatever you deem fit for you, whatever works for you. But he'll show you if you ask him. And in height, just thinking back now, if I had listened to everything that was revealed to me, I probably won't be in this situation. But then again, everything happens for a reason. We all have different journeys. Our journeys are different. My journey is different from the next person. So I believe that things happen for a reason. I was married for 25 years and spent 2.5 years, almost about 2.5 years in divorce court. So a total of about 27.5 years of my life with this person. We have 4 wonderful, beautiful kids together. 3 boys and 1 girl. And it's been a rocky road. It's been rocky from day one. We both make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I won't sit here and say I'm perfect. I'm not. But I know I can also say that I'm not that bad either. I'm not a horrible person. I'm very easy to talk to, relate with. I'll say I'm friendly, but there's some things I'm very strict about too. I always believe in treat me the way you want to be treated. And that's all I ask. So, every marriage has ups and downs. We come into the marriage with our baggages. And when trouble hits, I hope to run to the Lord for help. Again, He listens and He answers prayers and He will guide you. But most of the time, do we really understand what He's showing us? In my case, I didn't. God speaks to me through dreams and through other means too. But a lot of times when I pray, He speaks to me through dreams. There are some dreams I do understand and some I just don't understand. The main issue in our marriage has been infidelity. Of course, people say, I'm from Nigeria. My country people will say, are you the first? No, I'm not the first. But there's a lot of things that comes with infidelity. You lose trust. You're terrified of catching disease, getting infected with different things. That worries me. So it's not just about adultery. It's not just about that. There's so many things that comes with it too, spiritually. So that was the biggest issue we had. Of course, money. Fighting about money. We both worked. We were both educated. He went as far as masters. I did the same too, but different schools. But of course, the responsibility of the home and the children falls on who? The mother. It fell mainly on me. So while he was chasing his career, traveling for work, and also for pleasure too, I was home, taking care of the kids. Yes, the husband is usually the breadwinner of the family. I get that. But don't take it for granted that you can just go and as you please, even for personal travels too. And leave me at home with the children, having to worry about babysitter, who's going to pick up the kids, drop off the kids, or commute to work. So, I don't believe in divorce. I never did. I believed in keeping that covenant that we made to each other. Even with the adultery situation that we're in, I never believed in divorce. I will not divorce my husband simply because he was having his flings out there. I prayed. I prayed for my marriage, prayed for my husband, prayed for my children, prayed for whatever it is I'm going through. And each time I prayed, the things I saw just wasn't making sense to me. It wasn't making sense. It wasn't adding up. I never thought that would be me. I never thought that would be me. That would be my story. No. So, it all began when everything unraveled. It was about, let's see, my daughter is 13 now. She was 2.5 when this happened. About 3 years old. It's about 10 years ago when everything started unraveling. Again, one lesson you want to learn is if you have a child, like a little baby, maybe babies, they can feel things that you and I can't see. So if your baby start acting in an unusual way, take it. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Listen to your intuition. Pay attention. And this started happening when my ex started going to Nigeria. Frequently. This particular visit that he went, he came back. Myself and the nanny, I cooked. We cleaned the house. And while waiting for him, we decided to go to the neighbor's house. So we're all happy, jolly. We went to the neighbor's house. We're there chatting and having fun. And then he called that he was here. He was home. So we started to walk home. Everybody was fine until we got to the garage. My daughter, she was 2.5, almost 3. She started screaming bloody murder, kicking and screaming. Stretching her legs. She would not enter the house. I started panicking because my daughter was fine until we entered the garage. Giggling, laughing, playing. We were all playing and just having fun until we got to the garage door and about to enter the house. She was kicking and screaming and stretching her leg and just going like that and stretching her leg, arms. She didn't want to go inside the house. So my nanny held her tight. I held her too. And we carried her into the guest room downstairs where my nanny sleeps. So I asked her, what's going on? Mommy, I don't want to go. I don't want to go into the house. And then we said, why? She said she saw a big cat. A big cat. But she's not going. What do you mean a big cat? She said, Mommy, a big cat wants to kill my I don't want to say. She said the big cat wants to kill some siblings, not mine. I panicked. Of course, I started crying. And finally, I called a friend's mom. And she yelled at me. She reminded me whose child I was. I know what to do. So I got my Bible and started praying. After praying over her, she stopped. Now let's go upstairs. Let's go say welcome to your dad. We got upstairs. Normally you expect a child that hasn't seen her dad for a long time to run straight to the dad. The dad was beckoning her. I wanted to say hi to him. I hugged him. But she stood back at the door to the master bedroom. Come and say hi to your dad. She said no. The dad was beckoning her to come. She refused. So when I went to sit on the bed, she just held onto my legs tightly. And I was moving with her as she was holding onto my leg. She refused to go say hi to her dad or even hug him. And she'd be peeping like that. She'd be peeping at him like this. That was the beginning of warfare in my home. My daughter was not sleeping well. I was not sleeping well. I was having bad dreams. She was having bad dreams. She couldn't sleep in her room. She would come to my room at night, middle of the night, and start banging the door. So I had to make like a makeshift bed for her on the floor to sleep next to me. And sometimes I have to sleep with her on the floor first. When she's fast asleep, then I go back on the bed. This went on for months, going 2 years. It got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. I'll go to her room and sleep with her first and pray with her. But she'll still come to my room. I was having demonic dreams. I mean, very demonic. But I still didn't understand it. I worked at Kaiser. And while working at Kaiser, I was going to school for my master's, studying. It was tough. Sometimes I feel like just running away, just taking my kids and run. But where would I go? Where would I go? Because I just didn't understand what was going on. I was so terrified. I was afraid of what I don't know. And my daughter too was afraid. She was okay when the dad was not home, but whenever he comes home, she's not okay. So I always took her because she's a girl. She's my first girl. I always took her everywhere I go. She's my handbag. I just take her everywhere. Anytime I'm going out, she's ready to go. So while I was working at Kaiser, she has this iPad that she plays with. And we call her on the iPad. So whenever I'm out and she's with the nanny, she would text me. She would talk to me. She would talk to her dad too. But all of a sudden, she couldn't text me anymore. What is going on? So I come home at night. She said, Mom, I've been trying to reach you. What happened? You don't want to talk to me? And I'm like, no. What do you mean? She said, Mom, but I've been texting you. I just wanted to say hi. I had so much to tell you. Because she'd mix drawings and she'd send it to me. She'd say, this is my mommy, this is my dad. She does all the drawing and painting of her brothers. And she wants to show me during the day. But she couldn't get a hold of me. At first, I didn't think much of it. And then she complained again. So finally I said, you know what, let me just look at her iPad. And sure enough, I looked at her iPad. I tested it. I sent her a text. It didn't go through. And sent a text to myself too from the iPad. It was undeliverable. So I'm like, what can be going on? But unknown caller. But her dad can send her text and she gets it. The brothers can send her text and she gets it, but it's just me. Why? Why is it just my number that is not deliverable? So one day I just sat down with the iPad and started researching and looking, poking around. And finally I saw that my number was blocked on her iPad. Only my number was blocked on her iPad. Now this scared me. This made me so uneasy. Why would anybody block my phone number on her iPad? I asked my ex. He said he doesn't know anything about it. So I just ignored it. I unblocked it. And it was fine again. Then I started having issues with my laptop. Again, let me remind you, when your parents pray for you when you're getting married and say that you will not marry your enemy, that is a very big prayer. Or even before you get married and they keep telling you, oh mommy, you will not marry your enemy. Oh mommy means my child. You will not marry your enemy. That's a big prayer. Because when it gets to a point where somebody will start sabotaging your own progress, the wife, something wrong. There's something wrong. But yet you complain to everyone outside that your wife doesn't want to work. Your wife is lazy. But everybody that knows me then know that that's the last description. You can't even describe me as lazy. You cannot describe me as lazy. I'm not lazy. So I started having issues with my laptop. And it happens month end. My background is accounting finance. So we have reporting due month end or quarter end. Of course, I have to bring my laptop home. And when I walk at home, I have this blue screen of death. Why is it that when I bring my laptop home to work during the weekend, if I'm working from home, I get this problem? I couldn't explain it. My first review from my boss was spotless. Second, same thing. Now all of a sudden, I started having issues with my boss from nowhere because of the blue screen of death. And she looks at me like somebody that's not serious. I had it three times consecutively. I couldn't explain it. Then I started having panic attacks. I was afraid to go to work. And then all of a sudden she started calling me names. Of course, that kind of made things worse. But anyway, that's how I lost my job with Kaiser. And after I lost my job with Kaiser, I decided to go into real estate. Again, my computer was hacked. My personal computer that I use for my business was hacked. I was sit at home doing work, and all of a sudden I'll see my mouse moving without me touching it. Of course, this got me so worried. I was so scared. Because then I couldn't explain. I didn't know what was going on. When I asked my ex, he told me that maybe I offended somebody and they're after me. Why would you tell somebody that? This is the mother of your children, someone you claim you love. And he'll be laughing about it. With the problem I went with that happened at Kaiser and everything else could have compounded, I was having medical issues. High blood pressure, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Because I wasn't sure where all this was coming from. I was put on migraine. My migraine was horrible. Most times when I start having the attacks, really the massive attacks, it will be my son that will help me out. My first son will help me out. And all through, when I pray, I have dreams of, how would I put it? Just things that is just impossible. The way God reveals things in, what's the word I'm trying to use? He uses, what do I call it? I want to say symbols, but it's not symbols. I remember. So Parables is what I'm trying to use. Parables. So you have to kind of figure it out. For this particular parable, I couldn't. I went to my pastor, I asked them. They said it doesn't look good, but they can't really pinpoint what it means exactly. It was until God revealed the same thing to me 3 times or 4 times before I kind of understood where he was going with it, because he gave me more clarity. So now that I know that something is up, what do I do? Here I believe that God is against divorce. I've always believed that. He doesn't like adultery. Okay, what do I do? Do I stay? Then other things happen in between that caused me to cry to God that this is it, I'm done. Something has to give. Something has to give. I cried to God, and he agreed. He relieved me from being from performing my wifely duties. He did. I know some people say, "Oh, it goes against the Bible." Excuse me. Yes, the Bible said you should perform your wifely duties, but at the same time, the Bible didn't say you should kill yourself, or you should allow somebody to kill you. So of course, when I stopped, he complained to everybody, but he didn't tell everybody what he was doing. Finally, what broke the am I forgetting something here? Well, a lot of things happened. I don't want to go too much details, but I'm sure you can figure it out. I mean, when I say a lot of things happen, I mean demonic stuff in the house. And then when I couldn't, about the laptop, finally I caught him sending an email from my laptop. So I was going through my email, and the cursor moved again, so I stopped. I watched it. He picked up an email and forwarded it to his email. So right there, I knew that was him. So when I got home, I confronted him. He admitted. He said he wanted to see who I was having a conference call with, because the name sounds familiar. I'm like, really? He thought the person I was having a conference call with was a guy. Even if it was a guy. We're all professionals. We have a conference call. I said, so now you're convinced that it's a woman? But why would you go to the extent of hacking me? So you were the one all along. Then he was quiet. But it didn't stop. It got worse. It got worse to the point because I started looking for ways I can just stop the hacking and understand more about the hacking process. Then I found out that he was hacking me through my router at home. I changed router several times. I'll call AT&T, I'll call my provider, service provider, nothing to be done. My phone was hacked. My iPad, everything, all my communication devices was being monitored. It freaked me out. Why? I don't know. They know me at Apple. They know me at AT&T then. They all know my story. Even Sprint. I changed all of them. I changed quite a few times just to resolve this problem. I couldn't. And as a realtor, my client's information is at stake. I didn't want to have that on my head. So that I'm always worried about that. They sabotaged my efforts to the point where it was just unbearable. I had a client I was working with, and I couldn't reach her, she couldn't reach me. And finally she had to call my boss. And he connected both of us together while he was still on the phone to figure out what's going on. And she told me that she'd been trying to reach me. I said, no, I've been trying to reach you, but you're not picking up. And I took a picture of the screen, I sent it to my boss. She did the same thing too. So what's going on? She said she had her phone right next to her. She didn't hear the phone ring, and nothing came through. So she was puzzled about it. She was an elderly woman, and she liked me for some reason. So she decided to ask her grandson to research it for her. And they found that my number was blocked on her phone. That was the height of sabotage. Sabotaging my career. Even there are times we'll be having a meeting at work. Everybody, their computer will be okay, it's just mine that's having issues. Everyone is they're able to get their stuff done, except me. Finally, I had to stop working. During that time, I already started the divorce process. And what really broke the camel's back, my daughter and I were coming home from the pastor's house. And when we got home, her dad's car was in front of the house. My daughter refused to go into the house. She said, Mommy, you know what, can we just drive a little bit around the neighborhood? And I said, why? She said, I just don't feel like going inside yet. I felt so bad because things have really gotten really, really bad. Because one, he's never home. But one thing he fails to realize is whenever he's not home, we're good. There's peace. But when he comes back, it's like war in the house. War that nobody's fighting. You can just feel the tense atmosphere. But when you see the house, big, nice house, from outside, so I don't know who's listening to this. When you start comparing people, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Even though from outside looking in, you may think, oh, this people, they're really enjoying life, or they have it made. The grass is not always greener. What you see from the outside is not what it looks like. Appreciate what you have. Water your grass. Water your grass. And you see its potential bloom. So when my daughter refused to go inside, I knew that it's time. There's no point deceiving ourselves. I even tried to write a report to FBI on my phone. IC3. IC3, yeah. I filed the report. I wrote my report already on my phone, and as I was ready to send it, it was just yanked. I don't know how that happened, but that freaked me out. It freaked me out. Like you're about to press that button. It's almost like somebody's watching you. And the thing was just like torn like a page, like psst, zapped. I was terrified. And I looked around like, okay, who's watching me? What is going on? So I don't feel safe in the house anymore. But guess what? The next day, my ex got his friend from out of town to come. He lodged him in a hotel, and they started wiping all the computers in the house. They wiped everything clean, and they started shredding papers. They were shredding papers all day, wiping all the computers, laptops, phones, everything clean. This is a case of a wicked person that's just running away when nobody's chasing you. God is real. He listens. Seek him while you can find him. And the story continues. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already too long as it is. I'm going to maybe I'll find a way to edit it and cut it short and make it in shorter segments. Because there's still more to the story. As the Lord leads me, I'll continue with the story. But it won't be long. I had 2 videos done earlier on. I think it was last year. Towards the end of last year, as instructed by my papa. I'm not sure if, because I'm new to this recording thing. I'm new to posting things on YouTube, having a channel. So I'm still trying to figure myself out, try to figure things out. So I'm praying for improvement with every video. God will lead me. So I hope this helps. There's still more coming. This is not the end of the story. I'll see you soon in my next video. Thanks.